The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and you're listening to the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network and our fine family of broadcast affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, 20 Asian countries, and in Europe and the rest of the world on TalkStarRadio.com, streaming audio and X Zone TV. For the next 4 hours, I'm going to be your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It can be a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, and we come to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here in our home network, the Talkstar Radio Network. If you'd like to give me a call tonight, my toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. Now, that is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. My email address, xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, you can chat with me here in our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada by typing in the MSN Messenger address, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our websites, www.xzoneradio.com, which is our main website, and www.xzonetv.com is where you watch and listen to us live from Hamilton. My producer tonight is the one and only Gotham City guy, Batman himself. Hey, Batman, nice working with you. And on tonight's show, we'll be speaking about olive oil. We'll be speaking about ghosts. We'll be talking about being a mystic and a seer, and much more. My first two guests this hour are, Dan Shibika and Cal Orey. We're going to be talking to these two people about the healing powers of olive oil. Now, from ancient times to present day, olive oil has been used as a remarkable remedy for everything from health ailments to beauty and household uses, and so much more. Now, evidence shows that a diet based on olive oil can promote longer life and may even prevent some of the diseases linked with American diets. In Healing Powers of Olive Oil, health journalist Cal Orey describes the latest medical research from leading experts on the many benefits of olive oil, such as inhibiting breast and colorectal cancer, preventing diabetes, reducing cholesterol to lower your chances of heart disease, speeding weight loss, lowering blood pressure, promoting longer life, fighting ALD, soothing diaper rash, minimizing stretch marks and wrinkles, cleaning your house, reducing shedding in pets, and much more. And we're going to be speaking to Cal Orey and Dan Shibika right now. Hi there. Welcome to the X Zone, Dan and Cal.
Hello, Rob. How are you tonight?
Cal, I am just doing fine, and how are you?
I'm watching the earthquakes. California has so many earthquakes, I've lost count.
You're kidding. Are they having a lot of earthquakes today?
We just had another 4-point at Ludlow. We just had Japan. I'm looking at an unknown magnitude at Bodie. Verdi, I live 60 miles from. We've had a swarm of over 40 quakes. I am on edge.
My goodness. And yet here you are tonight with us.
But the USGS map is in front of me, but I can talk olive oil. I can do both. I'm multitask. Let's go for it.
All right. In fact, our newsroom is just pulling up the worldwide earthquake map now as we speak. Thanks, guys. You're a little late. Oh, my goodness. Look at all those earthquakes.
I know.
My gosh, it looks like the map of the western part of the United States has the measles.
Well, it's 3 days after the full moon, and you know Jim Berglund, he believes in that, and so do I. And gosh, any place can get it now. It's look at that big red square by Ludlow.
Yes.
But that's kind of out in the desert, so hopefully there's no damage or anything from just a 4.
Let me see. We have tremors. Holy cow. Well, now, we're going to do our very best to
stay focused.
And you and I have to take a commercial break. Dan Shibika, how are you tonight, Dan? Is Dan with us? I don't know if Dan's with us or not. Let me see. Batman is sending me something. No, I don't think Dan is with us. We're going to try and connect with Dan in a little while. So, Cal, stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break as the X Zone continues right here, live and around the world on time. Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
Hi, this is Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout, here on the X Zone Broadcast Network. I would like to invite all of our listeners to the second annual Para-Unity Conference, January 27th through the 29th in Fellsmere, Florida. We have some exciting speakers, including Brian Cano from The Haunted Collector, author Andrea Perrin, whose book inspired the hit movie The Conjuring, and our own Rob McConnell. There are events for the public as well as opportunities for paranormal teams to come together to share information. We also have opportunities for our guests to participate in some investigations of Fellsmere's most haunted locations. Check out my website at www.paranormalstakeout.com or www.paranormalfbi.com for times and details. Hope to see you there.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Just looking at the information that is coming to us from the U.S. Geological Survey, and let me see. We're going to work our way backwards. Today, since midnight, there have been reported 58 earthquakes to the USGS, and the latest was at 21:06 local time. That's that's 18:06:54 Pacific. In Central California, they experienced a 3.2 magnitude earthquake. And then in Illinois, where was this in Illinois? This happened local time about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, in Illinois, 2.1 magnitude. Then another 4.2 in Southern California, 17:55, about 2 hours ago. Then another one in Southern California, 2.0. There was a 5.2 earthquake off the coast of Japan, off the east coast of Japan, Vanuatu received a 4.9 earthquake. 2.1 in Greater Los Angeles at 17:52 Eastern Time. South Atlantic Ocean received a 5.2 megabyte earthquake at 7 p.m. Eastern, which would be 4 p.m. Pacific. Nevada had a 4.4 earthquake at 3:40 Eastern, which would be what time? 12:40 Pacific. Yeah, something like that. Let me see, what else? And the Andreanoff Islands and the Aleutian Islands received a 2.7. There was another 2.3 magnitude in Nevada. 3.1 in Southern California. Then we go to Washington State. They had a 2.1 magnitude. Let's go back to Nevada. They had another 4.4 magnitude earthquake today. Another 4.2. They had a 4.0. The Greater Los Angeles had another earthquake that measured 2.0 on the Richter scale. Northern California had one 2.2. The Andreanoff Islands, again in the Aleutians, had another 2.3. Off the coast of Oregon, there was a 3.8. Off the shore of the state of Washington, there was a 2.2. Off San Francisco Bay, there was a 2.5. Another 2.4 in Nevada. There was a 2.3 in southern Alaska. There was a 2.1 in southern Baja California and Mexico. Central California had a 2.5. Nevada had another 2.0. Fox Islands had a 2.4. Northern California had a 2.3. And it goes on, and this is just from today. Just today, and last night we were talking to Brian David Anderson about the lunar effect on earthquakes, and something is certainly happening underneath the Earth's crust. It is not happy. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and send our prayers and our love and all the light we can to the people that are affected in this earthquake area. Cal Corey's our special guest, and we're talking about the Healing Powers of Olive Oil, a complete guide to nature's liquid gold by Cal Corey. It's published by Kensington Health, and it was released in February of this year. So, Cal, how long has olive oil been used anyhow, and what exactly are its uses?
It goes back to biblical times, and actually, I'm looking here, it goes back 6,000 years
Wow.
at least. As early as 400 B.C., Hippocrates, the father of medicine, used olive oil for over 60 therapeutic remedies to treat his patients. Just think back in those days. In the era of the Romans and Egyptians, olive oil was mixed with herbs for different types of treatments. And, today we have herbs and flavored olive oils. And Dan Chabika, I was just looking at his website, he even offers outrageous, amazing flavored olive oils, all different types. It's been used, olive oil has been more than just a food. And people sometimes today that don't know about olive oil, they think it's just for salads or maybe a few dishes in cooking. It is so much more. And again, going back to the past, it was used by the people of the Mediterranean as a medicinal agent and antibiotic, even provided promises of vitality, strength, and just so much more. Homer, actually, the Greek poet, he called olive oil liquid gold, as I do in the subhead of the book, Nature's Liquid Gold. My editor said I could take it from Homer.
Now tell me, can olive oil really help prevent heart disease, cancers, and other health ailments?
It can help. I mean, don't think just, if you already have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, overweight, you don't exercise, don't think you can rush off and get a bottle of olive oil and save your heart health. It doesn't work that way. But it definitely can help if you use it as a component and change your lifestyle. The main compound in olive oil is polyphenols, which the definitions, they're antioxidants. They fight diseases. I have a nice definition here. They're compounds that act as powerful antioxidants, disease-fighting enzymes that protect your body by trapping free radical molecules and getting rid of them before damage occurs. Once damage occurs, then you get the heart disease, you get the cancers. Extra virgin olive oil is the best type to have because it has the more polyphenols, which you want to have. And that's the kind of olive oil that Dan Chabica makes and other olive oil producers around the world make as well. You don't want to get the kind that doesn't have, you want to get extra virgin olive oil is the bottom line. There's different types, but that's the best quality to get. Also, there's other ingredients in olive oil. There's a whole list of them, but just some of them, the most important are vitamin E, and that's an antioxidant vitamin that can help strengthen immune responses and reduce the risk of heart disease and some forms of cancer. We know that. You've heard that, right?
Sure have.
Vitamin E is good for that.
Certainly, yeah.
Essential fatty acids, these are so important. They're good for you fats that we get in fatty fish like salmon and tuna. And the Americans, we're just not getting a good balance of omega-3s and omega-6s, and that definitely can help stave off heart disease. Eating fish is so much healthier than eating red meat. You don't want to eat red meat these days. If you eat fish and lots of vegetables, fruits, and the Mediterranean type of diet, which definitely includes olive oil, you will help to stave off heart disease, obesity, and diabetes too. Definitely, that's a fact, and exercise. But again, like I was saying, it's not just olive oil. It's olive oil in combination with everything I said.
You know, what is the Mediterranean diet, lifestyle, and why is it so healthy?
Oh, I love the Mediterranean lifestyle. Do you know, I've been following that forever, before I even knew what it was. I'm 55, and I'm very healthy. I've never been to the hospital, except for anxiety once. Mm-hmm. But I'm really healthy, no diseases, and it's just so back to nature and easy to follow. You want to eat, there's actually 10 tips here. You want to eat a lot of food from plant sources, including fruits and vegetables, potatoes, breads, grains, beans, nuts, seeds. You want to forget processed food. Don't buy packaged things that you see at the store, things that have lots of chemicals and preservatives. You want natural food. You want to use olive oil as a primary fat. Forget saturated fat. Throw out the butter. I did. Throw out the margarine. I did. Olive oil. Aim for daily total fat amount ranging about 25 to 35%. With saturated fat, no more than 7 to 8% of calories. And you can see this on the labels. You know, when you go to the store today, and a lot of people are getting more savvy with this, read the labels on all the foods, and you can see how much saturated fat and trans fat are in there, and you don't want those. You want the lowest amount possible. Consume low to moderate amounts of cheese and yogurt. Low-fat and non-fat versions are the best. I prefer low-fat because it tastes better. Eat moderate amounts of fish and poultry, 0 to 4 eggs per week. Yes, you can eat eggs. Enjoy fresh fruit as your daily dessert. Forget fattening, bad desserts, unhealthy desserts.
You mean like the ice cream sundae with a lot of whipped cream and that nice chewy chocolate sauce is no good for me?
You know what? Why don't you just have like a half a cup to 3/4 a cup of vanilla ice cream, really good vanilla ice cream, maybe with some drizzled with balsamic vinegar, or even dark chocolate syrup a little bit. I'm not saying you have to cut out, tasty foods. I eat dark chocolate every day, because it has antioxidants in it, and then it curbs my craving for what you just said, to have that.
I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people who are probably going, did she say balsamic vinegar on ice cream? Don't knock it unless you try it. It's fantastic.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. An Italian chef, when I was doing the Healing Powers of Vinegar, he had me try it, and I was reluctant because it sounded kind of gross.
Yeah, but
it
wonderful.
was really good. It really, really was. You want to really forget red meat. I mean, if you love a steak, go for it a few times a month. Lean cuts are preferable, but in the Mediterranean, they really go for fish, grilled fish, the fatty fish like I mentioned. Tip number 9, so many people need to remember this. Get regular exercise. It really will keep your weight down, your blood pressure down, your cholesterol down. It is so healthy. About a year and a half ago, when my blood pressure, I'm lean, small, but I'm type A, and I knew I had to get the blood pressure down because I didn't want to go on the medication. So I started swimming. I'm addicted to it. I swim probably 5 to 6 times a week. I love it.
All right, stand by, Cal. You and I have to take a commercial break. Cal Orey is our special guest. Our website is www.calorey.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, and the X-Zone newsroom is watching very closely the USGS for us, and as soon as we receive any more information on earthquakes, we'll be glad to pass it on to the X-Zone Nation. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
We all desire health, happiness, and fulfillment, but often get in our own way. Repeated patterns that leave us out of control can keep us feeling powerless, frustrated, and unable to move forward in spite of our best efforts. Unconscious patterning disconnects us from our gifts, often destroying the very thing we seek. But there is an answer. We can take charge of our destiny and heal the trauma of our history. Shamanism is an effective ancient modality that can reconnect us with our true selves, empower the creation of our dreams, and return us to health and balance. Cody Alexander is a certified shamanic practitioner and teacher with 11 years' experience. Email healingpathways33@gmail.com or visit codyalexander.net to schedule a long-distance shamanic session today.
Of the Healing Powers of Olive Oil, a complete guide to nature's liquid gold. And Cal is an author, as I said, and a popular international journalist. She has a master's degree in English from San Francisco State University, and for the past 20 years has written thousands of articles for national and international magazines. She specializes in topics on human and pet health, nutrition, beauty, and earth changes. Her books include the internationally best-selling vinegar book, The Healing Powers of Vinegar, which was translated into 15 languages, and The Healing Powers of Olive Oil. And we're very happy to have Cal with us tonight. How are things in California? You still shaking around up there?
I'm 100 miles from Bodie, and that's 20 miles from Mammoth Lakes. I have a prediction out. I have lots of predictions out, and I'm getting heads that by April 30th that region should get a 4.0. And the Japan I did buy through an ear tone. It's very exciting. It's exciting to sense these and predict them. The Southern California one, only a few people reported it. It's too far out in the desert, so there's not going to be any damage there.
Which is good.
Definitely, that's good. We don't want that. Brooklyn, we have that wager going on. He wants it way out in the desert, and I want mine way offshore, Northern California, where nobody is affected at all.
They are predicting that in the next 30 years there will be a major earthquake in Southern California.
That's true. The percentages are even higher in Southern California than Northern California, but with all these mysterious quakes offshore Oregon, the geologists don't even know what's up with that. The salmon aren't returning to the to Sacramento River, and now the scientists are saying the ocean temperatures offshore are out of whack, and they're all calling it a mystery, which is the Verdi swarm that we're having about 60 miles from me near Reno. They're calling it a mystery, and they're calling it a mystery as far as the offshore Oregon quakes. It's just a little bit unsettling. A lot of people are getting earthquake insurance by Reno, I'll tell you that. I talked to some earthquake agents the past week out of curiosity if there's a moratorium, put on that, as there was after the Angora fire last year in South Lake Tahoe. You couldn't get fire insurance after we had the fire. You had to wait 30 days. And I found out that I think it's a 5.9, you can't get it for 30 days, and 7.0 or more, you can't get earthquake insurance for 60 days.
Tell me, do you think there's a connection between the increased earthquake activity and the situation of global warming?
No, I don't, and neither does Berkland. We were on a show recently, I think Coast to Coast, talking about that. No, global warming, I know a lot of people believe in it. I know that. And I did do a book on that, a humor book. I mean, it's nothing to laugh at, but I believe, and he believes, that what's happening to the Earth changes, it does it in cycles. We've had this before. Things like this happen. I know it seems like it's more. It almost seems like that movie, The Day After Tomorrow. Did you see that?
Yes, I did, yes.
Yeah, it almost seems like that some weeks. But I tell you, in this book I wrote, I cited a passage from Time magazine back in the 70s, and the same things were happening. It just, things happen in this earth. It might seem more frightening now, but we've had devastating earthquakes before. We've had, wacky weather before. I live in Tahoe. We had a really big snowstorm this year where I was snowed in for 2 days, and I freaked. I've never experienced that. But people here in Tahoe told me, years ago, it was like that every day in the winter. Yeah. So, I guess I'm contradicting myself, so it's changing a little bit here. You're right. I don't think the quakes have anything to do with the climate. I really don't.
Like when I'm looking at the USGS map here, it looks that there's something happening beneath the surface in the Ring of Fire. And I would imagine that they can expect a number of undersea volcanoes to erupt.
I know, and especially next month, Jim Berkland is saying this. If you look at the tidal calendars, his primary window, early May, with the full moon, with the new moon. We're in the full moon now. He and the tides, a lot could be happening in the next 3 months, he predicts.
It's going to be
he's pretty good. Do you know he got that New Madrid quake? Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
He made a prediction in his newsletter. He said that a 4.0, he used the word rare, a rare 4.0 plus would happen east of the Mississippi River. And the headlines kept saying a rare quake. How about that?
That is pretty uncanny.
Yeah. It sure
is.
It really
All right, let's get back to olive oil here.
Okay, what I wanted to say, I didn't want to undermine olive oil alone. Forget the Mediterranean diet. I'm looking at this little chart here. If you have arthritis, and that can hit so many baby boomers and seniors, go ahead and take a tablespoon or two of olive oil. If you could handle the taste, a tablespoon and swallow water after. It has omega-3s in the extra virgin olive oil, and that can play a role in reducing aches and pains because it may have an anti-inflammatory effect. And, a lot of the pain medication out there can just kill your stomach. It could cause, internal bleeding. So if this olive oil will work for your aches and pains, give it a try, by all means. Diabetes, too, is really, baby boomers are getting it more and more because they're out of shape, poor diet. Olive oil can actually counteract the bad cholesterol and get rid of lower triglycerides. And those are basically the major form of fat linked to heart disease and stroke. And I even read tonight pancreatitis, that it can actually lower the chances of, well, it can lower your triglyceride levels. And I read tonight also the American Heart Association says they should be less than 150. So if you do get that tested and you don't know what the numbers mean, just remember you want your triglycerides less than 150. Just like blood pressure, you want it lower than 120 over 80 if you can. That's what they're saying these days. They're making it more strict.
Tell me, why is combining olive oil and vinegar good for you?
Because you're getting a double punch. I mean, the vinegar book, obviously, like you said, it sells well, and it's been around since biblical times, too. And it has a lot of great components, the antioxidants. And the antioxidants are what fight diseases like cancers and heart disease. Red wine vinegar, especially, I worked with some scientists that did some tests for me to see if red wine vinegar would have resveratrol, which is found in red wine. And there are trace amounts. And that can help, as you know, real red wine, the alcohol can help prevent high blood pressure, stroke, and heart attack in moderation. Red wine vinegar is rich in cancer-fighting antioxidants, which I said that may help lower the risk of developing cancer, especially if you team it with the antioxidant-rich vegetables and fruits. People aren't getting enough of those daily. Americans, we know we should, and it's hard, but we should at least get 9 servings a day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not. If you just, a half a cup is 1 serving. It's pretty easy to do it if you get used to it. Red wine vinegar, it's low-cal, sodium-free, fat-free. For instance, today after swimming, I was starving. I went and got a sandwich, whole wheat, and instead of having mayonnaise, which is not really good for you, I just told them to splash red wine vinegar on it and olive oil. And it really, once you start doing it, you get used to it, and it tastes good, and it's so much healthier for you because it doesn't have the fat that, salad dressings have, or the sodium, which can increase high blood pressure, or the cholesterol. Red wine, people believe that red wine vinegar, folk medicine doctors believe that both apple cider vinegar and red wine vinegar can help you live longer. And there's a lot of people that are in their 80s and 90s that actually take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day, and they swear by it, that it, keeps them healthy and living longer.
Well, whatever works for you. Don't upset the ship.
Did you see that thing on AOL? Fergie, she's a celebrity singer, I think. She's taking vinegar shots daily, and she swears by it, saying it's keeping her lean and fit. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I want to go that far, but anyway. How does olive oil help people to lose weight?
Did you ever hear of the famous Dr. Barry Sears?
Sure.
Yeah, The Zone. Years ago, I was the nutrition writer for Woman's World magazine, this huge magazine, national, and I interviewed him, and he talked about how good fat is necessary, and if you eat the right fatty foods, it can help you lose weight. And I didn't understand that because that was years ago. This was like in the 90s when everybody was on the low-fat, fat-free craze, and I didn't understand it. He was saying eat macadamia nuts, eat good oils like olive oil, canola oil, olives, avocados, and that's very high in fat. And the reason why is because it can help you to burn fat. It can boost your metabolism, so you burn more calories faster without trying. It's hard to burn fat. And if you eat the good fat, which includes olive oil, it can boost your energy levels. It can trigger the release of CCK, which is a hormone that signals your brain that you're full and you should stop eating. So, again, if you include olive oil in your diet every day, you're not going to crave the unhealthy fatty foods that have the trans fats and the saturated fat. You don't want that. You want to eat the healthy fats. Olive oil it contains fat-soluble compounds to help metabolize fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Again, it contains the omega-3s and 6s, which you want to have, which are essential for fat metabolism. So there you go. If you're faced with a salad, instead of putting, tons of high-fat Thousand Island or Italian dressing on it, go for the red wine vinegar and olive oil. It'll be a lot healthy for you, and you'll get used to it. It's an acquired taste.
There's something wonderful about eating a salad in the summertime outside with those big, juicy, fresh tomatoes and all the other wonderful garden vegetables that you can get in the summertime. I'm getting hungry just talking to you.
I know, but you don't want to ruin that with a high-fat dressing. You can make that salad a 1,000-calorie meal by doing that. Mm-hmm. But if you just use real good quality red wine vinegar and extra virgin olive oil, that salad will be healthy, extremely healthy for you.
Now, olive oil boasts more than 30 amazing home cures. Now, what are some of your favorites, and how do they work?
The one I looked at tonight, the first one is for the swimmer's ear, which I used. Because I swim so much, sometimes I get that earache, and you can put a little bit of it in your ear instead of taking antibiotics. And remember, I said that it has vitamin E in it. It has an anti-inflammatory effect, and I swear that it helped to get rid of that earache. So that is one thing you can do. Or if you have an infant and you're, out in the wilderness camping or something, or in a natural disaster, and you don't have antibiotics, have olive oil around so you can use that in a pinch. It's really good for. Do your hands ever get dry from gardening or anything, or from paperwork?
Yeah. Certainly, definitely.
Yeah, the cuticles. Rub the olive oil on that, and it's very inexpensive. Well, it's inexpensive in a sense. Extra virgin olive oil is a little bit pricey if you're getting the good stuff, but it's less pricey than going to having a professional manicure. And if you rub that around your cuticles, it's great. It'll smooth them, and it'll make your hands super, super soft. An Italian person I interviewed, actually in Italy, he told me that it's great for the baby's diaper rash.
That would make sense, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, because, as you were saying, it has a built-in antibiotic, number one. Number two, it would soothe the irritated part and keep the irritation down.
Right. His name was Antonio, and his grandmother said she called it magic ointment. It can actually clear up the redness.
Plus, we raised 6 kids. That's not including our grandchildren.
There you go. If you have rough feet, actually in the pool I swim in, it's salt water, but my feet seem to be rough. If you put olive oil on your feet and put socks on overnight, your feet will be so soft in the morning. Oh, here's an important one, fibromyalgia. Now, they believe it exists now. You know that, right?
Yes.
And that's basically just aches and pains. And you have to have, 18 tender points, but you don't have to have all of them. There are different places in your body that may be sore and tender to touch. And if you have all 18, then you probably have fibromyalgia. But if you have a massage with olive oil and essential oils, that could definitely help. But also eating an antioxidant-rich diet complete with vegetables, fruits, and fish drizzled with olive oil, because of the anti-inflammatory properties, and teaming it with massages, you might have relieved some of those sore, stiff muscles.
All right, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Our very special guest is Cal Orey, and we're talking about her new book, The Healing Powers of Olive Oil, A Complete Guide to Nature's Liquid Gold. And for more information on Cal, visit her website at www.calorey.com. That's CALOREY.com. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, and you're listening to us live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world.
Cal Orey is our special guest. She is the author of The Healing Powers of Olive Oil, a complete guide to nature's liquid gold, and her website is www.calorey.com. Now, tell me, Cal, can you really use olive oil for beauty?
Yes, but yeah, I do. After the Angora fire, I actually had it with me because I wanted to pamper myself when I was, gone for 3 days. So it is great for... you don't want to take, a million things if you're going to evacuate during a natural disaster. But also what I found out during the research of this book, they have wonderful products now that they use. Olive oil is one of the ingredients. And I got to treat myself to some wonderful soaps, they're to die for, and shampoos, and body lotions, and soaps you can use in the shower and bath that do have olive oil in them, and they're wonderful. And in the book, I give a list of all the places where you can buy them, or just go online and type in olive oil beauty-based products, and it's just, you'll get addicted because it's natural, and it's so much better than other types of soap that may have chemicals in it.
I also understand that you can use olive oil as a household cleaner, and I was wondering if you could give us a couple of hints on that.
Definitely. It's eco-friendly, just like, vinegar. Vinegar and olive oil teaming them is great. I remember in graduate school I used to clean homes for the affluent people in Hillsborough in the Bay Area, and they always put me in the shower and grab their children and their animals, and this left me there, and I thought, what's going on? And then I started looking at the ingredients in some of these cleaners, and oh my God, they're bad things. And so, of course, go back to using vinegar and olive oil. You can use it actually to polish your plants, your house plants. If you combine it with water, you can dust with it to give your furniture a nice sheen. You can sparkle up those blinds that get dusty, and it'll have a nice shine to it. I've cleaned candle holders. What else can you do with it? I have wood paneling all through my house, and it's really nice. Again, just with a little bit of water, you can use it. Something like Murphy's oil, and it gives it a nice shine, and it's natural. It's not going to hurt the wood at all. So it's super.
All right, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, Cal, and continued success. And I'm going to go out and get some virgin olive oil tomorrow and have myself a great salad and think of you.
Thank Thank you so much, Rob.
So nice talking to you, Cal. I hope that you do come back and visit us again here in the X Zone.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye now. Cal Orey, www.calorey.com. Now, when we come back from the news at the top of the hour at 6.5 minutes past, I'll be joined by Diane Ladley. We're going to be talking about ghosts. You know, those invisible spirits that come to haunt us, so to speak. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-877-528-8255. That's toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii at 1-877-528-8255. The X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, will continue on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue the X Zone live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, exclusively on the Talkstar Radio Network. Don't go away.